Okay, everyone, I'm going to show you how to do this problem, how to sketch the x-intercepts and then get the end behaviors and put it on a graph. So the first thing that we're going to do is take each factor and set it equal to 0. So each piece needs to be set equal to 0. So the -2 equals 0, x plus 4 equals 0, x minus 7 equals 0, x minus 5 equals 0, and x plus 1 equals 0. Okay, and then we're going to solve for x. So this one does not have an x in it, so -2 equals 0 would just go away. Then I would subtract 4, add 7, add 5, and subtract 1. So what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to take those points. Those are not completely straight, but they'll do. So I'm going to take those points and I'm going to graph them. So I will have an x-intercept at -4. I will have one at 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will have one at 5, and I'll have one at -1. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and determine if it goes through it or touches at these x-intercepts. So I have an exponent of a 1, 3, 4, and 5. So as an exponent of a 1, this is odd. Exponent of a 3 is odd. Exponent of a 4 is even. And exponent of a 5 is odd. So the odd ones I'm going to go through. So I'm going to write that right under the number. And the even exponents, I'm going to just touch those. Now to determine how to sketch this, you're going to find the end behaviors first. So as I've done in your notes a few nights ago, you're going to take every piece and take the biggest thing. So -2 would be number. Then x to the first would come out of this one, x to the third, x to the fourth, and then x to the fifth. And all of those would become -2x to the, this is 1 to 3 is 4, plus 4 is 8, plus 5 is 13. Okay, so now this one is negative, so the right hand would go down, and this is odd, so the left hand goes the opposite way. So what I would do is I would transfer these arrows to the graph. So this arrow is going to be this way, and this down one is going to be this way. Now I sketch it. So this is my -4, so I would look up here at -4 and determine I want to go through -4. Well, what happens at -1? Here I determined I already to go through it. At 5, I'm going to touch it. And then at 7, I'm going to go through it. And that's how you would do that one. Again, the through and the touches come from the exponents of the parentheses, and then these come out to give me the end behavior. All right, let's do one more. I'm going to add 1 to this. I want to put a 2x minus 3 here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is set each piece equal to 0. So 5x squared equals 0. X minus 5 equals 0. X minus 3 equals 0. X plus 4 equals 0. X plus 1 equals 0. And 2x minus 3 equals 0. Here I would get x squared equals 0, because when I divide by 5, 0 divided by 5 would be 0. And square root that, I would get x equals 0. Here I would get x equals 5 after I added. Add 3, subtract 4, subtract 1. That would be 2x equals 3, and then x equals 3/2. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and graph this. Okay, now let's go ahead and sketch the x-intercepts. So I'd have one at 0, one at 5, one at 3, -4, -1, and 3 over 2, which is 1/2 there. 1 and 1/2. So 3 would be 2 and 1 and 1.5. 3 divided by 2 is 1, and I'd have 1 left over. So that's where that goes. Alright, now let's determine through or touch. Since this is a 2 that's even, it would go through. This is a 1 odd. The evens touch. Sorry about that. So the 2 is even, so it's going to touch. The 5 is odd, so it will go through. Here is even, so it touches. 6 is even, so it touches. 10 is even, touch. And 1 is odd, so it goes through. Hello. Okay, so once again, let's review that. So 2 is an even, it touches. 1 is an odd, so it goes through. 2 is an even, so it touches. 6 is even, it touches. 10 is even, it touches. And at 3/2 it goes through because 1 is odd. Alright, now the last thing we have to do is the leading, or not the last thing, but one of the last things we have to do is get the leading term. So this would be 5x squared. This would be x. X to the second out of this one. X to the 6th. X to the 10th. And another x. So that would be, oh, not another x, it would be another 2x because you have to bring that 2 with it. So that would be 2 and 5 would be 10 when I multiplied, and x times x cubed would be, or x times x to the second is x to the third. Here's this other one. So x squared, let's start over. X squared times x is x to the third, then plus 2 is 5, plus 6 is 11, plus 10 is, Okay, so let's do it again. I have x to the second, x to the second, x to the 6th, x to the 10th, and then I have 2x. So that's 2, 3, plus 2 is 5, plus 6 is 11, plus 10 is 21, 22. Sorry about that. Let's double check that. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, 21, 22. So 10 would make the right hand go up because it's positive, and 22 makes the left hand go in the same direction. So I have this arrow and this arrow. So what happens at 1, 2, 3, at -4? At -4, I touch it. At -1, I touch it. At 0, I touch it. At 1 and 1/2, which is here, I would go through it. At 3, I would touch it. And then at 5, I would go through it. Evens, I touch it. Odds, I go through it. And that's it. I hope that helps with your quiz.